which is given in this Shishta Parampara. So we have to follow that. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajeevam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Namscha Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhescha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री चैतन्य प्रभु वंदे कालो प्रिय अनुग्रहात् तरेन्नानामतग्राह व्याप्तं संसार सागरा वंदे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं तं करुणार्णवं कल्पयति गूढ़ेयं भक्तिर्येन प्रकाशिता. This new verse is from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Madhya Leela, this is the first verse of that chapter, 22nd chapter. Says, Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya. That I pay my humble and respectful obeisances to Shri Krishna Chaitanya Dev. Why? Tam Karunarnavam. Because he is the Arnav of Karuna, the ocean of mercy. Okay, but what kind of mercy has he given? Kalau api ati gudheyam. In the Kalyug, the very confidential secret matter, Bhakti Riyana Prakashita, the Bhakti which is very confidential, very secret. It is very difficult to understand Bhakti actually. But Mahaprabhu, out of his ocean like mercy, he has given this Bhakti, he has done the Prakash of this Bhakti in the very quarrelsome age of Kali. So we are very grateful to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So by his mercy, we'll try to understand the bhakti given in Bhagavad Gita, the hidden treasure of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is an open secret, yet people cannot take it so easily. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So verse number 22 of the second chapter, Atma and Atma Viveka or Samkhya Yoga. We discussed the verse number 22 till 22. There Vamsamsi Jirnani Yatha Vihaya. Just like the when we remove old clothes, all the old ornaments, and then accept new clothes, similarly, when the body becomes old, deteriorated, the soul rejects this body and accepts a new body because the desires are still pending. So then, following the same principles of attaching two verses with some logic by the mercy of Acharyas, we'll understand verse number 23 today. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakah, chainam kledyantyaapo, nashosh marutah. It's a very simple verse, very famous verse also. This verse also proves that the soul is actually indestructible, not just eternal. Because if you call something eternal, then there might be some changes to it. There might be some vikar or some transformation. Eternal accepted, but there should be some changes happening due to some external reasons or internal reasons. So that is negated here. That by some external weapons also, nothing can happen. So nainam, na enam. Enam means this. This what? This soul. Na enam chindanti shastrani. Through shastra, it cannot be damaged. Chindanti means it cannot be pierced or cut down. Na enam dahati pavaka. By fire, you cannot burn it also. Pavaka means fire. Agni, pavaka, these are synonyms. Na chainam kledyan tyapo. What is kledyant? That means you cannot moisten it. By what? Water. So even if you sprinkle water on the soul, it will not get moistened. Then na shoshyati marutaha. Marutaha means wind. So by the effect of wind, the soul does not get dried up also. So neither by weapons of fire, water, and air, nothing can happen to the soul. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying very interesting thing that even nuclear weapons of the modern age are classified as fire weapons. That's true because they are all generating heat and light. But formerly, there were other weapons made of all different types of material elements. Means there were weapons made of air, weapons made of just water, weapons made of just space, weapons made of just sound. So fire weapons were counteracted by water weapons. Agnyastra will be counteracted by Varunastra, which are now unknown to modern science. That's true. The science is lost. Nor do modern scientists have knowledge of tornado weapons. So, yes, Arjun had the capacity to control the wind. He himself will accept it in the Bhagavad Gita also. That is it. It is easy to control the wind, but not the mind. He'll say that later. So there were proper military sciences, Dhanurvidya, coming from Dhanur Veda, Upaveda, how to make weapons out of various material elements. है ना? So Arjun was able to create tornadoes inside the Mahabharata. Lakhs and lakhs died. So nonetheless, the soul can never be cut to pieces, annihilated by any weapon, regardless of the scientific devices. Now, in the second paragraph, Srila Prabhupada is focusing the subject matter back to Mayavada because the Mayavadis are very much into proving that Atma and Paramatma are one Tattva. There is no individuality. And if we see or we try to recall the previous 5, 6 sessions since the start of verse number 13 or 12, Krishna is particularly giving hints after hints, direct answers that individual soul and individual Paramatma, the individuality is never lost. Okay, whether in terms of past, present, or future, whether in terms of any kind of movement, whether in terms of any kind of subjugation to various external factors, the individuality is never ever lost. So, following the same principle, following Krishna and all the Acharya, Srila Prabhupada is also repeating the same thing that the individual souls are eternally Sanatan, atomic. Like I gave you the example that the Atma is Anu and the Krishna or Paramatma is Vibhu, great. We are small, he is great. But both are individuals. So, by some phenomena, the soul will merge with the super soul and then only one will remain. And then, if you give some other argument, they'll say actually they were never two before only. It is perceived as two. But no, Krishna completely destroyed this logic by saying that in the past also we were all in plural number, in the present also, and even in the future will remain in plurality only. So plurality means more than one, more than two, never one. That is that is very clear. So Srila Prabhupada is quoting Bhagavad Gita and Varaha Purana also that the soul is always individual. Okay. Now we'll move towards the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Very small commentaries given by both the acharyas. Vishwanath ji says in Sarath Varshani, Nacha yodhe toya prayuktebhyah shastratebhyah kapyatmano vyatha sambhaved ityaha nainam na inam iti. That means he's saying that Arjun is actually asking a question. So, is it possible to use some kind of weapon and give some kind of damage to the soul? Like, can we give some kind of injury to the soul? Because we are going to use a lot of weapons in this battlefield. So, you are saying in the previous verse that Bhishma, Drona, Ityadi, these all will not at all be affected because the bodies are going to die. The soul will not die. So I am just curious if I use Varunastra or Agnyastra or some other Brahmastra, Pashupatastra, Ityadi, then the body will die for sure, that I know. But what about the soul? Will the soul will also get injured also? So the reply to this doubt of Krishna, doubt of Arjun, is given by this verse. So Krishna says that no sword weapon can cut it. Shastrani khadagadini. Shastrani means khadag. Khadag means sword. So by the term shastra here, there are many kinds of shastras, right? You have lances, you have maces, you have swords. So Acharya is, oh, we were reading this one, huh? Okay, both Acharyas are saying same. Shastrani means khadaga adini, means various kinds of swords, etc. And Pavakaha means Agane Astram Api Yushmad Adi Prayuktam. That means various kinds of fiery weapons. And then Apaha Prajanyastram Api. So there is one Parjanyastram, is the name of the Astra. And the Maruta weapon is called Vayavyastram. So these are the names of the weapons given by the Acharyas. So we can study these. So in Baldev Vidya Bhushan's commentary, the question is little different. He's saying by Arjun is asking a question to Krishna by giving an analogy. He's saying, Nanu Shastra Patehi Sharira Vinashe Tadantaha Sthasyatmano Vinashah Syat Grihadahe Tanmadhya Sthaseva Jantoriti Chet Tatraha Na Inam Iti. So Krishna, by saying Na Inam Iti, is counteracting this doubt of Arjun. And what is that doubt? He says, so just there is a owner of the house living in the house. So if a weapon is used on the house, for example, a fiery weapon, Agnyastra is used on the house, so the house collapses, the house is destroyed, and the person inside also is destroyed. So similarly, soul is also residing in this body. So if I use a weapon like Agnyastra or Vayavyastra on the body, so body will die, that I understood. But with the soul will also die. So Krishna says, Na enamiti. No, 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 it will not. So these are the hidden conversations that are happening. Then Krishna is saying Shastrani Khadagani, Pavaka Agneastram, Apaha Parjanyastram, Maruto Vayavastram. Names of the weapons are given. Tatha cha tat prayuktehi shastrastre na atmanaha kachit vyathedi. By use of any kind of such weapons, the Atma is never, ever, ever, ever disturbed. And those who are used for striking or those that are thrown also, there is no change. Nothing will happen to the soul. So it's a very easy verse to understand, but there are some hidden conversations that we need to understand also. Okay, verse number 24. Achedyo ayam adahyo yam akledyo shoshya eva cha nityah sarvagatah sthanur achalo yam sanatanaha. So very interesting verse. So now some repetition is being happening here. What kind of repetition? So when something is of very important, the repetition is very much needed. Like this verse is very famous. Uh, Harer Naam eva kevalam. Why three times? Just to emphasize that by the holy name, by the holy name, by the holy name. Eva, Eva, Eva. Certainly, certainly, certainly. So by the repetition, there is an kind of impact created to show the importance of that term. So similarly, the eternal nature of the soul by various angles. If you remember, I gave the example that to understand an object, one has to see from all the angles, external, internal, obstructional, any kind of angle one has to see, whether the object is clear or not. And when all the angles are covered, then you can say, okay, I have now understood the topic. So similarly, Krishna is also engaging in such a conversation to make sure the science of soul and its difference with the science of body is clearly explained. So the same repetition about the qualities of the soul in a different angle is being told here. So what happened? This chedya, this term is used already here. Nainam cheddanti. So similar term, achedyo ayam, adahayo ayam, akledyo shoshya eva cha, nityah sarvagatah sthanod achalo ayam sanatana. That means achedya, you cannot ched, you cannot break this. This means I am this soul. Adahyo. Now, dahati pavakaha in this previous term, same. But in negation, adahyo. Adahyo ayam, you cannot even burn it. Then akledyo. Now, this is an interesting term. When they say Atma is dissolved in Paramatma, so this term is cutting that part. Akletya, it will never ever dissolve. It is insoluble. And then nahi shoshyati marutah in previous word, same word is used here. Ashoshya evacha. When the term ev is added, that means certainly it will never happen because negation is used in all the terms. So never ever it will happen that the soul will be broken up into pieces or will be burned up or will be soluble ever and ever or will be dried up in any point of time in any situation. Okay, then what are the qualities? So now the qualities are being told here. The soul is nityaha. So whenever someone asks you what is a soul, these are the terms one has to use, not some mind-made terms, something out of your own whimsical mind. No, no, one should not do that. So nityaha and then sarvagataha sthanur achala ayam sanatanaha. So nityaha means everlasting, eternal. Sarvagataha means it can go anywhere. So this term we have to understand very carefully, otherwise we'll be entrapped in the Mayavad circle. Sthanur. Sthanur means there is no change. Achalaha, it does not move. I am, and it is Sanatanaha, means eternally the same. There is no change. So same terms with different angles we are going to understand. Okay, the purport is very important, especially this line. Would anyone like to read this? Maybe Amitru, you can begin, or Mika, or anyone. The one which I have
Right, sir.
highlighted.
The word Sattvagata, all-pervading, is significant because there is no doubt that living entities are all over God's creation. They live on the land, in the water, in the air, within the earth, and even within fire. The belief that they are sterilized in fire is not acceptable, because it is clearly stated here that the soul cannot be burned by fire. Therefore, there is no doubt that there are living entities also in the sun planet with suitable bodies to live there. If the sun globe is uninhabited, then the word Sarvagata, living everywhere, become meaningless. Hare Krishna.
Very important to understand. So usually there is a tussle that the sun planet is not, like, it is uninhabitable. No one can live on the sun planet. But by the science of spirituality, we understand that fire cannot do anything to the soul. Like, for example, you take this earthly planet only. So we humans, our body is made to live on land and breathe air. We cannot live in water. If we have to live in water, then we have to artificially make some environment which is suitable for us. Like we have to you carry oxygen cylinders so that we can breathe. So our natural adaptive environment has to be recreated where we go. For example, if we go travel via some aeroplane, then at that time the cabin pressure is regulated so that we can breathe. During turbulence, the breathing changes. So that is artificial for us. That means some artificial arrangements have to be made. So Krishna has given bodies that are adaptable to certain environment. For example, fishes. There are fishes which can live both on land and water, so they called amphibians. Anyway, so the fishes who are only surviving in the water body, they cannot live on the land or the air. Similarly, we cannot live in water. So in the same way, there are bodies made up of fire element which are adaptable to that environment. So there are living entities in sun planet, there are living entities in moon planet, there are living entities in all kinds of areas because the soul is sarvagataha. Wherever there are bodies, the soul will be there because the body is inhabited by the soul. So this is the term to understand. But Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baldev Vidya Bhushan Prabhu will give a very unique understanding about this, and that we'll understand. So first we'll go with the Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Little bit purport, but interesting because the Sarvagataha word is very important. Otherwise, as I said before, we'll be entrapped in the circle of Mayavad. So we have to be very careful. The Vaishnava Siddhanta should be on the top. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Mahasaya says, Tasmad Atmayam Evam Uchyata Iti Aha Achedya Iti. So by the term Achedya, that it cannot be cut, Atma is being explained. Okay, fine. अत्र प्रकरणे जीवात्मनो नित्यत्वस्य शब्दतोऽर्थतश्च पौनरुक्त्यं निराधारण प्रयोजकं संदिग्धादिषु ज्ञेयम्. Okay, that means when the explanation which I gave as soon as we read the verse, same thing he's saying, that the eternal nature of the soul is being repeated here. Why it is being repeated, that we have to understand, because यथा कलावस्मिन् धर्मोस्ति धर्मोस्तीति त्रिचतुर्धा प्रयोगात् धर्मोस्ति एवेति निशंशया प्रतीति स्यादिति ज्ञेयम्. Because in the Kali Yuga, people are not so intelligent. They are very much confused. They're confused intellect. So that is why a statement has to repeat it again and again and again and again. That is why the terms Nitya, Sanatanaha, Achedya, Kledyo, why these terms are being repeated? Because it is already said, Nainam Dahati Pavaka, the soul cannot be burned by fire. Then again, why the term Dahati is used again? Because Acharya is actually saying the people of Kali Yuga are very foolish, short memory. So what we have to do is, the dharma of Kali Yuga is to repeat several times. Now what we have to take the teaching from this? Repetition is necessary. Repetition is very, very necessary. For example, if someone says, मैंने गीता पढ़ ली, 700 गीता 700 वर्सेस की गीता खत्म कर लिया, I finished Bhagavad Gita, then one should understand that he is finished. Bhagavad Gita is never finished, because this is the knowledge which is ever expanding, like not ever expanding. Like you cannot just complete Bhagavad Gita, because these are the words of Krishna. Krishna is Ananta, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is Ananta. You cannot say, I know Bhagavad Gita, I understood Bhagavad Gita, khatam kar di. This is a very wrong materialistic approach towards scriptures. The scriptures are meant to be served again and again and again and again and again. I explained the term Purana because Ajo Nityam Shashvatto Yam Purano. The term Purana was explained in the commentary in that verse. Purana, Puranava, again and again it is new. So you have to practice again and again. It is not that I explained this term and then ho gaya, Shan Gopinath Das has said it. Now we'll wait for the next Saturday or next Sunday to understand verse number 26. No, it is not like that. You, in your own time, you have to repeat it to yourself or to others. But this practice has to be developed, because don't trust your intelligence that, oh, I've understood. Never ever. If someone says, Prabhu, ye samajh mein aa gaya, agla batao. What to say to that person? He said, okay, I can try to explain. I can try to understand. This is humility. Let's just accept the correct facts. Let's just not cheat ourselves that we are very intelligent. So this repetition is needed. Krishna is doing this repetition to Arjun in Dwapar Yuga. So how come we, so overwhelming, so amazing jivas of Kali Yuga, we should be so, puffed up that we understood in just one term? Oh, Srila Prabhupada is just giving the basics. Oh, we are not this body soul. Idiots we are, actually. No, this is the need. This is the dharma of Kali Yuga. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, Asmin dharmo asti. This is the dharma. Three, Chaturdha, Prayoga, three times, four times. One has to do this Prayoga so that it can be iti gniyam, so that it could be understood. Okay? Okay, now we'll understand the term Sarvagataha from the point of view of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He says, Sarvagataha Swakarma Vashad Deva Manushya Tiryag Adi Sarvadehagataha. that means Sarvagata means gone everywhere. Sarva Gataha. So the soul goes into all sorts of bodies, human, animal, deva. By what? Swakarma. By our own actions, we get the body, so we travel into various places. Same thing Srila Prabhupada says. But there is one understanding that we need to take care. There is other meaning of Sarvagata means pervading everywhere. But this meaning cannot be taken. Why? Because all pervading is Paramatma, not Jiva. The Mayavadis use this verse to claim that soul is also all pervading. It is also like Sarva Vyapak. But the soul is Sarva Vyapak in Deha. So Deha Vyapak. Because if you take the term Sarva Vyapak, like the Mayavadis, then chapter number 13 will be disturbed. Because in chapter number 13, it will be cleared that soul is Deha Vyapak and Krishna is Sarva Vyapak. So the harmonized understanding of whole Bhagavad Gita should be there. It is not like we have to play with just to satisfy our Siddhanta. Okay? So the Jeev is pervaded everywhere in the body, but the Paramatma is pervaded everywhere in the body, outside the body, everywhere. This we have to understand. Okay? And let's see what else he says. Sthanur achala iti. Sthanur means achala. It does not move. Paunaruktavyam sthairya nirdharanartham. Okay. He says that Sthanu and Achal, they have both same meaning. That means fixed in definition. And why, okay, if these two terms are having same meaning, then why it is used again and again? Same principle, repetition. Either you say Sthanu or you say Achala, that is fine. So Krishna is using same word, different words to make sure Arjun understands the science of soul. So Sthanur, Achal, both are same words only. Not same words, they have same meaning. That means fixed in definition. Fixed in definition means fixed in qualities. The qualities of soul will not change. What are the qualities? Sat, Chit, Anand. This will not change. The soul is Satchidanand, it will remain Satchidanand. The soul is never contaminated by materiality. It is the consciousness is covered that we understood in verse number 13, 14, 15 also. Okay, so the repetition is done here also. अति सूक्ष्मत्वात् अव्यक्तस्तथा अपि देह देहव्यापी चैतन्यत्वात् अचिन्त्यो दर्गः. Okay, the term achintya is used. Why? Because the soul is ati sukshma. Ati sukshma means it is very fine, and because it is pervading in the entire body, and at the same time, one cannot conceive how the soul is functioning. I'll tell you one same thing. Have you seen a lizard? किसने किसने छिपकली देखी है? देखी होगी ना? So when the tail of the lizard is cut, there is still consciousness in that. Why? The direct connection from the body is disturbed, but the consciousness is still there for some time. So how is it possible that the soul is in the body and now the body part is being cut from the main body, still consciousness is there after some time? How this connection is happening, we don't know. And even this is just an example. Now, for example, if the body is connected, still some part of the body is having consciousness, some don't. So how is this taking place? This entire study is very fine and very subtle. So that's why achintyoyam. So, and then further he says, Janmadi. Okay, screen share has stopped. Janmadi Shad Vikaranarhatvad Avikaryah. So, from the commentary of Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, I told you the 6 changes that are happening in the body. Jayate, Asti, Pranat. I hope you remember all the 6. So, because these 6 changes, see, 6 vikaras are absent in the souls, that is why it is called avikara. So, if you are reading Bhagavad Gita and if you read a term, okay, soul is avikari, then you should know why avikari, because all these 6 changes are absent. Okay, why soul is achintya? Because it is very subtle, one cannot understand, that is why it is avikari. Okay, why it is Sarvagata? Because based upon the karmas, the soul travels into various bodies which are almost all over the creation. So that is why it is Sarvagata. So you have to understand the logic behind the terms used. Not just okay, it is Sarvagata, Sthanur, Achalaha, Achintyo, Avikaraha. No, this is not the right way to understand. It is Nitya. You have to have some kind of logic behind it. So acharyas are giving logic behind each term. Okay. Now we'll understand the commentary of Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu also. It's very nice. छेदाद्य भावात् एव तत्तन् नामाभिर ayam आख्यायत इत्याह अछेद्यो ayam iti. Okay, he is also taking the same stand only. That because the Atma is not affected by any of the weapons that are mentioned above. So similarly, the names that cannot be cut, burned, dissolved, dried out, these names are being used. Furthermore, Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu says, Evakarah sarvai sambadhyate. That means the word eva, if you see the term, let's see the verse. You see eva. So this eva is not just for this term. The eva will be applicable for all. Achedyo yam eva, adahayo ayam eva, akledyo yam eva, shoshya eva. So eva will be applicable to all the terms. So this is what he's saying. And what else? Sarvagataha swakarma hetukeshu deva manavadishu पाशुपक्ष्यादिषु च सर्वेषु शरीरेषु पर्यायेण गतः प्राप्त पीत्यर्थः. Same definition. The Atma is called Sarvagata. Why? Because it accepts all kinds of bodies. Manushya, Devataha, Khagaha, beast, birds. And how the body is attained? Because of karma. And this term, sthanu, is differently explained here. He says, Sthanu, sthira swarupaha. The soul has a swarupa. That is why it is Sthanu. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, what he said? Sthanur is Achalai only, like same meaning terms. But Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu is giving different meanings. There's a power of Sanskrit. So he says Sthanu means Sthira Swarupa. Sthira means the Swarup is not changed. And Achala means Sthira Gunakaha, means fixed qualities. So fixed Swarup or fixed form and fixed qualities. These are the terms. Sthanu, fixed form, and Achalaha means fixed qualities. Now, Ashruti is being quoted here. Brihadaranya Upanishad 4.5.14. This mantra. Avinashi vareyam atmanuchite dharma. What? Avinashi va. The soul is indestructible. Indestructible. Avinashi. And atmanuchitti dharma. They have some dharma. That means dharma is some quality. So if a Mayavadi says that soul is without qualities because it is Brahma, Brahma is Nirguna, that is being cut by Upanishad Vakya itself. Atmanuchitti dharma. I am, this soul has a dharma, and dharma is a quality. So the quality is there in soul. So Mayavadi is cut now. Anyway, further he says, iti shrutyar iti artha. Okay, Shruti is giving this earth. Now, na चानुचित्तिरेव धर्मो यस्येति व्याख्येयं तस्यार्थस्य विनाशेति अनेनैव लाभात्. Okay, तस्माद् अनुचित्तयो नित्यधर्मा यस्य स तथेति एवाथ सनातनः शाश्वतः पुनरुक्तः दोषः स्त्वे अग्रे परिहर्षति. Okay, पुनर punarukta doshas. Okay, punarukta dosha is coming, so he is saying anyway. So when you say anuchitti dharma, so you cannot say that it is having the, like, you cannot just interpret in the term that the soul has the quality of indestructibility. Why? Because anuchitti dharma and avinashi, these are same terms. So same terms cannot be used in such mantras of Shruti. So that means anuchitti dharma would be something else. So now the term would be the indestructible Atma has eternal qualities. Otherwise, the term would be the indestructible Atma has indestructibility. So it is like, it is a wrong way to put a statement. So the real meaning of this mantra would be the indestructible Atma has eternal qualities or anuchitti dharma. Okay. So anuchitti means eternal and quality dharma means qualities. So furthermore, he says that the word Sanatan in Bhagavad Gita means eternal. है ना? Because the term Nitya is already used. If you see the verse, now little bit of technical. So if Nitya word is used, then why Sanatan word is used? Because just now we gave a clarification in this mantra. So why this? So Sanatanaha Shashwataha Paunarukta Doshaste Agre Parihishyati. This Sanatan term will be applicable for the next verse. This is what Baldev Bhushan Prabhu is saying. Because our understanding is okay, this verse, this meaning, this purport. But for Krishna, it is continuously Sanskrit verses, na? So the Sanatan term is applicable or will be explained in the next verse. So this fault of repetition will not be there now, or this is the reason for the repetition. Okay, so we'll go to verse number 25. No, we have done this. No, no. Okay, 25. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmad eva viditvainam nanushochitum arhasi. This term nanushochitum arhasi, this will come a lot of time because Arjun is in lamentation. So by giving various logics, reasonings, tarkas, Krishna is saying, do not lament. So why he is saying do not lament? Because the soul is avyakto. It is avyakt. Avyakta means not vyakt, which is not visible to the naked eyes. And it is achintya. Same word being used again. It is inconceivable. Avikaryaha. It has no vikara. Therefore, evam viditva. Please understand this very carefully, like this only. Evam viditvaina means understand like this, like as it is what I have told you. And then do not lament. You should not grieve. So, purport, Mihika, would you like to read?
Sure, Bhuj. As far as the soul's existence is concerned, no one can establish his existence experimentally beyond the proof of Shruti or Vedic wisdom. We have to accept this truth because there is no other source of understanding the existence of the soul, although it is a fact by perception. There are many things we have to accept solely on grounds of superior authority. No one can deny the existence of his father based upon the authority of his mother. There is
Okay. So, Prabhupada is saying that there is no way to understand the science of soul except accepting the authority of Shruti or the Vedic wisdom. Because there is no department of soul anywhere existing in any university that is explaining the science of soul without using the scriptures. So one has to accept. And why one should take the authority of scriptures? Very simple. Now we know, as per scriptures, that bones are impure. If one touches a bone, then he has to take bath. He has to go to the purificatory rites. Do achmana, take a snana, ganga snana, etc. Change the clothes even. But the conch shell that is used inside the altar is also made up of bone. That is considered purified. Why? Because the scriptures say so. The stool is considered impure, but the gobar, the cow's urine and stool are considered very pure because the scriptures say so. Now one may use modern science to prove it that why it is useful. Okay, gobar has antiseptic qualities, cow urine has cancer treating qualities. That is fine. That one can go ahead and like whole life, multiple janams one can take. But the thing is, one has to accept the authority of the scriptures. There is no other way. For example, if your mother says he is your father, how can you question your mother? No, 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 he's not my father because he talks to me very rudely. That's not the way. The mother is the authority to tell who is the father. So similarly, there is no source of understanding the soul except the studying the Vedas. Now, what Prabhupada is teaching here, that is very interesting. If you are in a certain kind of debate, with someone who wants to study spirituality but will not accept the scriptures. So what you will do? Very simple. Simply bring him to the standard of accepting scriptures and everything will be all right. That's it. There is no other way. You will win 99% of debates, although the purpose is not to win debates, but just I'm telling you because the world is full of now debaters only. They are not ready to accept the truth, but are ready to fight with you. Even if you defeat them, they'll not accept. But if you bring scriptures as the basis of discussion, then you have already won the war. Don't worry about it. Even if you'll not accept it, you have established the scriptures, definitely something good will happen. Now, in our ISKCON society, if you remember, during book distribution, there is a mantra given to all the book distributors. What is that? Even if you are not able to distribute the book successfully, just make sure he touches the book. है ना? Better if he opens it, better you make him read from it. That Sukriti is enough. So any discussion that just bring the scriptures, everything is solved. Most of the things are solved. Even our petty fights, just bring the scriptures, everything will be solved. But the problem is the Chetana is so low. If you try to bring scriptures, they'll be more angry. ये क्या गीता गीता बात बीच में ले आते हो? अभी मेरे जीवन में कठिनाई है, so it is very difficult. It will take some time. Shraddha, Krishna's tests are very, interesting. But still, you see devotees, they are putting faith in Krishna even in adverse conditions. One should very much pay obeisances to such devotees because they are actually trusting Krishna's will. It's very difficult, but still they are doing it. So trust these scriptures. Have some Shastrik Shraddha over topics. Then it will be easy. Now, Meka, can you continue reading the last 4 lines?
Okay.
From here.
As eternally unchangeable, the soul remains atomic in comparison to the infinite Supreme Soul. The Supreme Soul is infinite, and the atomic soul is inmanifestable, infinitesimal. Therefore, the infinitesimal soul, being unchangeable, can never become equal to the infinite soul, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This concept is repeated in the Vedas in different ways just to confirm the stability of the conception of the soul. Repetition of something is necessary in order that we understand the matter thoroughly without error.
Very nice. So same thing is being explained that the repetition is very much important. Okay, if one does not repeat, then he is lost. So repetition, this practice, it is very much needed. So now the Supreme Soul is infinite, means Ananta. There is no Anta. Now atomic soul is also Ananta, but the term used is Anu. So Vibhu, Anu. Very simple. There is individuality and difference always. There are similarities also. Like Paramatma is also Satchidananda, we are also Satchidananda. Paramatma is Adhyatmic, we are also Adhyatmic. But what is the difference? We are covered by Maya, Paramatma cannot never be covered by Maya. Maya can never, never, ever, ever touch Paramatma. Even Maya cannot even touch us, but she can cover us. Atma will never be affected. If someone says, "Na, oh, I have been affected by Maya," so the affected by Maya, this term means we are covered by the illusion of Maya. So there are two types of Maya, Avarnatmika and Prakshapatmika. When I'm talking about Mahamaya, okay, this material Prakriti. So Avaranatmika means Avaran, one who covers the individual souls in the conception of me and mine. I am this body. So by this conception, one is under the influence of Avaranatmika Maya. And then from me and mine, the attachment, anger, emotions, and death, these are all connected. So we know avidya, smita, raga, dvesh, abhinivesh. These are the five kleshas. These are explained in Madhur Kadamni and Patanjali Yoga Sutra, etc. So I'll not just explain these terms. Simply that first we understand that who am I? We forget that that is tamas. So I'll take the terms of Srimad Bhagavatam, not the terms of Madhur Kadamni or Yoga Sutra. So it will be easy. So tamas, that means who am I? I forget. Then moha, I am this body. Then mahamoho, from me you start doing what is related to this body, that is Mahamoha. Then Tamisra and Andhatamisra. So Tamisra means you try to enjoy, and then there is, when you are not able to enjoy, there is anger. And Andhatamisra means eternally falling into the cycle of birth and death. So this is the five kleshas. The soul can experience all these kleshas, but Paramatma cannot. There are some things which are never experienced by Krishna. So you can say, oh, is this limitation? No, no, this is the all nature. Krishna cannot understand the pains and pleasures of material life. This is very deeply explained by Jiva Goswami in Paramatma Sandarbha also, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur also in his commentaries. Also, there are very many other limitations for Krishna also. We'll not say limitation, the sweetness. Krishna cannot remove anyone from his jurisdiction. If I say, if like for example, I'm the owner of a house, so-called owner of the house, and I want to remove someone from this house, I can do that. Now, how can Krishna remove someone from his jurisdiction? Because everything comes in his jurisdiction. If someone surrenders onto the lotus feet of Krishna, he will never ever leave them because he has given the promise. So these are some things with the sweetness of Krishna is explained, the difference. If someone comes into our shelter, we'll leave him. अपना नहीं समझ रहा उसको क्या बचाएंगे. So very sweet differences between Atma and Paramatma also. Okay, so the 25th verse, we can see the commentary of Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu, because we covered the 25th verse also here. It was not in the 24th verse. The two verses are here. So in energy of the flow of the moment, I read the commentary of 25th verse also. Anyway, we'll see the commentary of 25th verse. 24th verse we have already done. 25th verse, there is no commentary given like that. Okay. So I think time is already up to 8:52. But we can read one more verse. 26 we can do. अथ चैनं नित्यजातं नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतं तथापि त्वं महाबाहो नैनं शोचितुमर्हसि. I told you na, nainam shocitumarhasi, nanu shocitumarhasi. This term will be repeated many times because Arjun is in depression, lamentation. So Krishna is saying, do not lament, Baba. So he's saying, atha cha enam nitya jatam nityam. So nitya jatam and nityam va manyase mritam. For example, if someone thinks that the soul will always be born and will die forever, even if this is a wrong conception about the soul, still, what is the purpose of lamentation? So here, the opposite meaning is being taken. Whatever was explained before, now Krishna is taking a very different path. He's saying, even if you take the opposite meaning, what is the purpose of lamentation? It is beyond logic actually. If you see someone lamenting, na, then you must understand that still the philosophy or the science of soul and body, it is not understood properly. And I'll tell you, the situation in our life are in such a way that even after understanding so much philosophy also, na, we'll still stuck. You know why? Because of attachment. This attachment is the only thing which was keeping Arjun to fight for dharma or accept the will of Krishna. But what to do? This is so strong, this attachment. So how to cut this attachment? We cannot cut the attachment by our own bahubala. One has to cut it only by the mercy of Krishna. There is no other way. Yes, there are processes like karma sannyasa yoga ityadi, which we'll read in chapter number 5, or jnana yoga in chapter number 4. By the knowledge, one can cut attachment, can cut the bondages of lust, etc. By the sword of knowledge, by the boat of knowledge, one can cross the ocean. You'll get these examples in chapter number 4, last 5, 6 verses. But we don't follow that process. We don't become so egoistic that we are so expert in performing yogic activities that we'll be able to cross the ocean of descents by our own efforts. No, we can't do that. We are humble enough to accept our limitations and just believe in the mercy of Krishna. That's it. Nothing else to be done. So, okay. So we'll go by the purport and then we'll end the session. This purport is actually very amazing. So one person can read this first para and the other one can read the second paragraph. Let's see who will read. Amit Prabhu, you only. First para.
There is always a class of philosophers, almost akin to the Buddhists, who don't believe in the separate existence of the soul beyond the body. When Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, it appears that such philosophers existed, and they were known as the Lokyatikas and Vaibhavasikas. Such
Okay.
philosophers maintain that life symptoms take place at a certain mature condition of material combination. The modern material scientists and material philosophers also think similarly. According to them, the body is a combination of physical elements, and at a certain stage, the life symptoms develop by interaction of the physical and chemical elements. The science of anthropology is based on this philosophy. Currently, many pseudo reasons now becoming fashionable in America are also adhering to this philosophy, as are the nihilistic non-devotional Buddhist sects. Hare
You
Krishna.
can continue.
Okay. Even if Arjun did not believe in the existence of the soul, as in the Vibhasika philosophy, there would still have been no cause for lamentation. No one laments the loss of a certain bulk of chemicals and stopped discharging his prescribed duty. On the other hand, in modern science and scientific warfare, so many tons of chemicals are wasted for achieving victory over the enemy. According to the Vibhasika philosophy, the so-called soul or Atma vanishes along with the deterioration of the body. So, in any case, whether Arjuna accepted the Vedic conclusion that there is an atomic soul or he did not believe in the existence of the soul, he had no reason to lament. According to this theory, since there are so many living entities generating out of matter every moment, and so many them are being vanquished every moment, there is no need to grieve for such incidents. If there were no rebirth for the soul, Arjuna has no reason to be afraid of being affected by sinful reactions due to his killing his grandfather and teacher. But at the same time, Krishna sarcastically addressed Arjuna as Mahabhavu, mighty armed, because he at least did not accept the theory of the Vaibhasikas, which leaves aside the Vedic wisdom. As a Kshatriya, Arjun belongs to the Vedic culture and it behooved him to continue to follow its principles. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So have you ever heard the philosophy of Charvak? So Charvak is an Indian philosopher who is actually Nastik Darshan, atheistic darshan. So he says, Yavat jivet sukham jivet rinam kritva ghritam pivet. That means how you live, just live happily. Beg, borrow, or steal doesn't matter, but eat ghee. Because who has seen the next life? Just enjoy. Who is going to punish you? This when this life is over, everything is over. So to enjoyment, if this rule is applicable, then in lamentation also this rule is also applicable. That who has seen the next life? Okay, I'll kill this person. This person will kill me. That's it. Then what is there to lament? Phew, this line is very interesting. That why to lament if the certain loss of bulk of chemicals, Srila Prabhupada, and stop discharging his prescribed duty. And you see, the atheists, they don't believe in the science of soul, existence of God, or whatever. But somehow they believe in like Prakriti or whatever. They have their own way to become Asti. They don't believe in Shakti. They don't believe in Shakti man, but they believe in a Shakti. That is fine. But why do they lament when their relatives die or when they are very much in pain? Are Baba, you will die. This body finished everything. What is there to suffer? Because the philosophy is wrong. So if the philosophy of enjoyment of Charvak is applicable, then the opposite philosophy of Vaibhashika philosophy. Actually, I think I should take this verse again in the next class because it is very important to explain what is this Buddhist theory, Vaibhashika philosophy, nihilistic, non-devotional Buddhist sects. because I think Baldev Vidya Bhushan Prabhu has given a very elaborate commentary on this. So yeah, it's too elaborate. Okay. So we'll take this verse next time also, but at least we'll try to understand the purport of Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada is saying very simple term. Even if you take the Gnostic darshan, the reason for lamentation should be absent. Because after the death of the body, there is no life. Everything finished. Why lament? Why? Just enjoy. Same way, Krishna is sarcastically addressing Arjuna as Mahabahu. As I said always, whenever there is a name of Arjuna or Krishna is used in Bhagavad Gita, there is some secret message. So when Krishna is saying na Mahabahu Arjun, mighty armed, so he is actually saying in a sarcastic way, चिढ़ा रहे, तंज मार रहे, because he is not even accepting the theory of Vaibhashikas. So what to expect the Vedic wisdom? So as a Kshatriya means belonging to Vedic culture, but he's not following the Vedic culture also, and he's not following the Gnostic culture also, non-Vedic culture also. So, oh mighty armed Arjun. So it's kind of sarcasm because as Kshatriya is following neither. So okay, the next verse is also very famous. We'll cover that in the next term. And commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baldev Vidya Bhushan Prabhu is still pending. We'll do that in the next session. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming here and blessing this session by oral reception. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Ram Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Hare.
Any question, comments, or we can just wrap up?
Thank you very much, Pujit. Thank you very much for the wonderful session. Though today is a little bit technical, but yeah, yeah. So, but you explained it very well. So, probably, do we have few minutes for questions? Can we take few questions?
Yeah, I already see the hand of Mika.
Yeah. Mika, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for the explanation on a few verses that we discussed today. So Prabhuji, when you were talking about how there's many things that we're told to believe on, it's like, for example, how you're talking about I forgot the exact example, but like they say, okay, you should believe on this, and then we're like, okay, we'll believe it, but what's like we don't ask for the explanation, but we always have the tendency to ask like, why are you saying me to believe this? What's the reason behind this? But then we're just told to be quiet and follow.
The
So
acceptance of scriptures.
yeah, but in those things also, there's some things they'll be like, you should follow this, and we don't even know like why. We're just told to be like be quiet and follow. So Proji, for those, how do we like not like we still are like we want to know why, but at the same time, okay,
Yeah,
we'll
that's true.
believe it.
See, asking the why question is the sign of intelligence. But not everything can be explained by logic. That is the limitation of our capacity. It is not the limitation of scriptures. For example, we are reading this Bhagavad Gita, so many terms, so many logical statements are there. But most of the statements you will see they are flying away above from our head, 2 kilometers away above from our head. Why? Because not the some wrong pattern of Bhagavad Gita, but the limitation of my own brain capacity. So just to save time, it is said, Baba, please accept. For example, in the scriptures, past, present, and future, everything is mentioned. For example, Krishna will take birth in the house of Devaki in Karagara. This is mentioned in Dwapar Yuga. When Kalki Bhagavan will come in Sambhal village in this parent's house, this is also mentioned in Bhavishya Puran. There are so many prophecies which are already being fulfilled. So how you will prove that by logic? Because our logic, our understanding is beyond three modes, is under Kal, and scriptures are beyond Kal. So this is the limitation of my understanding what to do. So just to not get stuck in the loop of logics, it is said, Baba, be simple and just follow. Even if someone asks the question, so there is a certain limit to answer because after that logic will not work, right? Same thing goes for this soul, the existence of soul. Now, if you ask me, Shant Gopinath Prabhu, please prove that the soul is existing in the body. So, as the purport of Srila Prabhupada says, by some symptoms we can understand, but we don't have any kind of instrument to actually prove it. Neither our eyes can see, nor we have certain kind of instrument to see spiritual matter. We can only create material objects and see matter only. We cannot track spiritual objects. For example, this mobile phone. This mobile phone is material. But if used in Krishna's service, this will become spiritual. How? Yeah, go ahead and prove it. So it's very difficult. So certain things which are in the logic, in the umbrella of logic, that can be answered. But there are many things which are beyond logics. So what to do with that? Yeah, either you can leave it simply, but you will be bereft of the experience of that knowledge. Because even if there are things which you cannot prove, for example, there is life on sun. How you will prove it? Okay, the taste of poison. What will happen? What will be the taste of cyanide after 5 minutes? Now tell me how you will prove it. Because as soon as you will taste the cyanide, within seconds you will die. Your experience will also go away. So how you will prove it? So these things, even material things, many material things are beyond logic. For example, we have explored only 5 to 6% of the ocean till now. That means 96%, 95%, or 94% is beyond our capacity of imagination also. So how you will prove the various life forms, the functionalities of the ocean by this, 500 kgs of cerebrum, cerebellum, and medulla oblongum, guys. And so that is why, just to save time and just to relax and go more deeper into experiences of spirituality, it is said not it is not said not ask question, but it is said please at least follow, and at the same time keep asking. Asking questions is never denied, but one has to not just ask question, one has to follow also. Okay.
Thank you very much for the answer, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay, Prabhu.
Uh, any other devotee have any questions or any realization? Please raise your hand. I don't see anyone else, Prabhu. So I
You may wrap
think
up, Prabhu.
everybody is like good. So if you permit, can we wrap up this call, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you very much for the wonderful class and explanation of the verses. We take it today, and for this we can wind up the call. वांछा कल्पवृक्ष कृपा सिंधु भैव पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। शिला शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। हिज कृष्ण प्रभु जी की जय। डिवोटीज की जय।